comments this morning? Jim?
Morning, gentlemen. Jim Tracy, Land Use Council for Federal Materials. Welcome to the first day of summer. It's always the day after the 4th of July weekend. I want to follow up on something Jim Fritz said, and it involves the Governor Schwarzenegger's move to reduce state, I believe 200,000 of some 240 or 60,000 employees to minimum wage. You notice there's no lawsuit. And there's a reason for that. Because when the state of California negotiated their contracts with these labor unions, they built in some flexibility for changing future circumstances. Now, I'm not anti-union. I'm also a former department head of Kitsap County and a former building official for King County. And I've been involved in negotiating for governmental management with unions. My point in mentioning this to you is that if there's one thing all of us in the private sector, in nonprofit industry and government should learn from our current economic circumstances is that we need to be more prudent about projecting the flex in future circumstances and providing for them in our contracts so that our labor contracts don't always go one way and we have some ability to respond to changing circumstances. And to me, that's the primary lesson, and California demonstrates the wisdom of having done so, because they now have at least some ability to take a step back in their adoption of their new state budget, come up with hopefully a proposal to deal more rationally with their revenue situation, which we don't have in Washington. Look at the Seattle fire contracts, the King County public employee contracts on healthcare contributions. These issues are all over the state of Washington, and it's because we didn't build in criteria for future flexibility. Secondly, as to following up on Jim's second point, which is standard times for activities in building departments. My memory is a little bit hazy, and don't hold me to these exact numbers, but trust the relationships of the numbers. When I became the manager of Building and Land Development in King County, I believe we had 21 plan checkers in the Building and Land Development Division. That's people who just check plans. Within 9 months, we had 7. For one very important reason. It is not the function of government to design buildings for applicants, nor is there any liability of government for the issuance of a building permit to someone that has a building code violation in their permit. Building codes are really for the purpose of a spot check. And you can pre-file a basic that requires no plan checking. You can have a checklist of spot checks that takes only a certain amount of time, but it is the applicant's responsibility to comply with the code and the applicant's liability for failure to do so. Thank you.